I'm Patty Smith, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the designer details that were featured in the So Beautiful issue number 133. This is the Godet that we were talking about where the puffing was. This is the pattern. I have used it then and have cut out a paper tearaway pattern of it, and I have my puffing strips cut out. I've cut them out with a rotary cutter to eliminate the excess rifling that you would have if you were to tear them. I'm going to gather the puffing strip with a gathering foot. The puffing strip will go in the bottom underneath the puffing foot. It will not go in the slot that is there. I have the sewing machine set on straight stitch, and it is on a stitch length of 6 so that I can get the maximum gathering. With this being silk, I will hold my finger right behind the gathering foot in order to get as much gathers as possible as I'm gathering the strip. You can release them every little bit. And once you've gone down one side, we will go down the other side. That's where it gets a little more complicated. You're going to have to make sure that it goes through smoothly. So we have to have a finger behind and a hand in front to make sure that we don't get wrinkles or folds in it as we are going. So you'll have to go a little slower on this side. Alright, here I have my paper that is a tearaway paper that I'm going to shape it as I begin to shape. I've shaped the first row of lace already for you. Now with the puffing strip that I had done on the machine, we want to take it and wiggle it to get it in a straight order, to get the gathers straight across from each other. In a perfect puffing strip, you would have them straight up and down with the grain. But now on this, where we are shaping it, it's going to be a little different. The straight up and grain will not necessarily always go that way because we are going around a curve. Now we will begin. What I want to do is to make sure that I get the puffing strip underneath the lace and that I get the seam line where I did my gathering covered up as I begin to shape it. Now, one side may be gathered a little more than the other, but at this point that's okay, because then once we get it to the paper, we can shape it and get it in, ease it in wherever there is extra. And as you see, we want them going fairly straight up and down as we're shaping them. These lace shaping boards are very useful when we begin shaping. So we get the puffing looking like we would like. And we want to remember it's the general look that we want from the puffing. As you can see, we want it fairly evenly distributed. Now we'll be ready to shape the lace on the top of the puffing strip. Once I had all of my lace and puffing shaped, and you can make the puffing strips as many as you want, as many rows of lace as you would like. Then I have sprayed it heavily with spray starch, and then I have let it dry. So then we will be ready to take it off of our board, carry it to the machine, and sew it. As you see, since I have starched it, it holds its shape. I starched it and let it set. I spray starched it heavily, and it will hold its shape and curve that way. Alright, I have unpinned it from the board. I still have the paper underneath. The paper underneath will keep these gathers from shifting on me as I begin to sew over them. I've put a few pins to hold them in place, and I'm using a zigzag on this machine. It's a 1 length and a 2.5 width. You want a width just enough to cover the heading of the lace, and you want a pretty tight stitch because this is going to be the finished seam on the back that will have to keep the silk from raveling and hold it in place. So I will zigzag the lace to the puffing. This could probably be done with a pin stitch if you would like, but I would suggest doing the zigzag stitch and then doing the pin stitch in order to make sure you have stabilized the raveling of the silk. So we will zigzag this row and the row down here. Alright, now we have torn the paper away, and with our zigzag on both sides, we're ready to flip it to the back side and to cut away up next to our stitching line. And then we'll only have the lace showing, and we will cut out the ragged edges, or cut off the ragged edges of the silk.